尊敬的中共上海市市委书记
Your Excellency
陈吉宁阁下，
Secretary Chen Jining,
尊敬的新开发银行行长
Your
罗塞夫女
Excellency
士，
President
尊敬的
Dilma
冈比亚
Rousseff
外长
of the NDB,
坦加拉阁下，
Your Excellency Foreign
尊敬的吴海
Minister
龙会长，
Mamadou Tangara of
各
the
位使
Gambia,
节、各位来宾、朋
Your
友们，
Excellency President
大家上午
Buhari,
好。
Diplomatic Envoys, distinguished guests,
很高兴和大家相聚在黄浦
I
江
am very
畔的
pleased to join you
世界会客
at
厅。
the Meet the World Lounge by
这也
the
是
Lanting
兰
River.
厅论坛首次走进上海。
This is the first Lanting Forum event in Shanghai.
习近平主席高度重视
President Xi
这次论
Jinping
坛
attaches
的
great
召开，
importance to the opening of this forum
他特意向论坛发来贺信，
and sent
委托我
a congratulatory message
在大会上
to
宣
this
读。
event and entrusted me to read it.
贺信全文如下：
The full text of the congratulatory message
值
is
此
as follows.
中国式现代化与世界兰厅论
I
坛
wish
举
to
办之
extend
际，
my hearty
我
congratulations
仅表示
on
热
the
烈祝
opening
贺。
of the Lanting Forum on Chinese
实现
Modernization
现
in
代
the
化
world.
是近代以来
Realizing
中国人民的
modernization
不懈追求，
is relentless pursuit
也
of
是
the
世界
Chinese
各国
people
人民的
since
共
modern
同追
times
求。
began. It is also the common
一个国家
aspiration
走向
of
现代
people
化
of all countries.
既要遵
In
循
pursuing
现代化的一般
modernization,
规律
a，country needs to
更
follow
要符
certain
合
general
本国实
patterns.
际，
More importantly,
具
it
有
should
本国特
proceed
色。
from its own realities and develop
中
its
国共
own
产党
features.
团结带领全国各族人民，
After a long and
经过
arduous
长期
quest, the
艰辛
Communist
探索，
Party of China
找
has
到了
led the
符合
entire
中
Chinese
国国情
nation
的
in
发展
finding
道
a
路，
development path
正在
that
以
suits
中国
China's
式现代
conditions.
化
We're now
全面推
building
进强
a
国
strong
建设、
country
民
and
族复
advancing
兴，
national rejuvenation on all
中
fronts
方愿
through
同
a Chinese
各国
path
一
to
道，
modernization.
努力
China will
以中国
provide
式
new
现代化新
opportunities
成
for
就，
global development
为世界发
with
展
new
提供新机
accomplishments
遇，
in Chinese modernization,
为人类探索现代化道
lend
路
new impetus
和
to
更
humanity's
好社会
search
制度
for path
提供
toward
新助力，
modernization and
推
better
动构
social
建人类
systems,
命运共同
and
体，
work with all countries to advance the building
祝
of a
论坛取
community
得
with a shared future
圆
for
满成功
mankind. I wish the forum a full
中华人民
success.
共和国主席
Xi
习近
Jinping,
平
President of the People's Republic of China,
2023年4月
21st
21
of
号。
April 2023.
以上就是习近平主席贺信的全
This is the
文。
full text of the congratulatory
朋友们，
message from President Xi.
本次论坛的主题
Friends,
是中国式现代化与世界。活
Shanghai
动选址
is
上
the
海，
right place for
非
our
常合
forum,
适。
themed Chinese
常言
modernization
道
and the world.
百年中国看上海。
As is often said, you should go to Shanghai
百
if you
年
want
多
to
前，
know about the last 100 years
中国
of
共产
China.
党就是从这里起
A
航。
little over a century ago, the Communist Party of
一个多
China
世纪来，
started its journey from
上
here.
海不仅见证了
Since
中华
then,
民族的风
Shanghai
风
has
雨雨，
witnessed not only the
更见证了
vicissitudes
神
of
州
the
大
Chinese
地的
nation,
沧桑
but
巨
also the
变。
profound transformation across the
从曾经
country.
的十里洋场
The old Shanghai,
到如今的
dominated by
改革
foreign
开放
powers,
排
is
头兵，
a forerunner today in
从
China's
解放前的
reform
百
and
废
opening.
到待兴，
A bustling
到现
and
在的欣
prosperous
欣向荣。
metropolis has risen from
今天的
devastation
上海
since
作
1949.
为中国最大的经济中
Is
心，
China's biggest economic and
创新发展中
innovation
心，
powerhouse
世
and
界
the
经
trading
贸
and
航运
shipping
枢
hub
纽，
of the world.
正走在时代的前
Shanghai
列，
is leading the
列于
trends of
发
our
展的潮
times
头，
and development.
成为中国式现代化
It is a
的
shining
亮丽
hallmark
名片。
of the Chinese path to modernization.
在此呢，我要衷心的感谢
Here, I
陈吉宁
wish
书记和
to
上海市政府
express my hearty
本次论坛活
appreciation
动
to Secretary Chen
大力支
Jining
持
and the Shanghai Municipal Government for their strong support for
各
this
位朋友
forum.，
树高
Friends
千尺必有根，
A towering
水
tree
流万
grows
里
from its roots,
总有源。
and a long river flows
中国
from
式
its
现代化
source.
的成功，不是从天上掉下来的，
Likewise, our
也不
success
是
in
从
Chinese
地下
modernization
冒
was
出来
not
的，
handed down from the
而是
heaven
中国共
or
产党
just emerged
秉
by
持
itself.
初心使命，
It has been
带领
attained
全国
step
人
by
民
step through
一步
determined,
一个脚印
painstaking
闯出
efforts
来的，
of the Chinese people
有着深刻
under
的
the leadership
历
of the
史
CPC,
实践
always staying
和理
true
论
to
逻
its
辑。
founding mission. Chinese modernization is
中国式
deeply
现代
rooted
化
in Chinese history,
是中国
practices,
百
and
年发展历
philosophies.
程的必然选择。
Chinese modernization is the
中国的
natural
现代化
choice of China's
一路走来，
100-year-long quest for
一路
development.
褴褛，
Modernization for
诠释了
China has
苦
been
难
a
辉
journey
煌，
of hardship and
承
perseverance,
载着光荣梦
anguish
想。
and glory, honor
近代
and
以来，
dreams.
无数
During the
仁
modern
人志
times,
士
countless patriots looked to the West for a formula of modernization to save the nation, but they all failed. It was not until the birth of the CPC in 1921 that China found the pillar and guidance for its modernization. It is under the CPC's strong leadership that we have embarked on a great journey of independently building a modern country. We have turned China from an impoverished and backward land into the world's second largest economy, top trader in goods, biggest holder of foreign exchange reserves, and biggest manufacturer. We have put in place the world's largest compulsory education system, social security system, and medical and health system. China has realized, in a short span of several decades, industrialization that had taken developed countries several centuries. We have caught up with the times in great strides. Chinese modernization is the natural requirement for promoting national rejuvenation on all fronts. As of the 18th CPC National Congress, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, the acceleration button was pressed in China's modernization drive. The two major miracles, fast economic development and long-term social stability, continued. Absolute poverty was eradicated. A moderately prosperous society in all respects became a reality. With this, the first centenary goal was realized. The Chinese nation has achieved a great transformation from standing up and growing prosperous to becoming strong. National rejuvenation is now on an irreversible course. At the National People's Congress and the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference sessions last month, General Secretary Xi Jinping was once again unanimously elected President of the People's Republic of China. It was a choice by history and by the people. With the conviction and responsibility of serving the people selflessly, President Xi Jinping is steering Chinese modernization forward and leading us in marching on the right path toward a better future. Chinese modernization is a natural outcome of the laws governing human development. Modernization is a common cause of all humanity, although the West enjoyed the fruits of modernization ahead of others. History will not end there. As early as 140 years ago, Karl Marx envisioned crossing the Quadine Forks of capitalism, providing a solid theoretical basis for a path of modernization different from that of the West. Through the past 100 years and more, China has found by itself a path to modernization and created a new form of human advancement. Ample facts have proved that there's no fixed model or single solution to modernization. Any country can achieve modernization as long as the past suits its conditions and answers the need of its people for development. On the contrary, mechanically copying ill-fitted foreign models is counterproductive and may even lead to catastrophic consequences. Friends, as the Chinese saying goes, a just cause should be pursued for the common good. As the biggest developing country, China always keeps in mind the greater good of the whole world. The Chinese path to modernization is not a one-flower show, still less for self-interest. It is a path toward development of China through which more positive energy will be added to global peace and new opportunities created for global development. Here is what I believe. The modernization of China with such a huge population will be a stronger boost for global economic recovery. Over the past 40-plus years, since reform and opening up, the Chinese government has lifted over 800 million people out of poverty and enlarged the middle-income group to over 400 million people. Today, China is the main trading partner of over 140 countries and regions, making $320 million direct investment around the world each day, and attracting over 3,000 foreign businesses every month. Over the past decade, China has contributed more to global growth than all the G7 countries combined. With over 1.4 billion people on course toward modernization, a number larger than the combined population of all developed countries, China will give a much stronger impetus for the global economy. The China Development Forum and the Boao Forum for Asia, which were successfully held last month, attracted many political and business leaders from around the world. The most repeated call we heard was to seize the new opportunities that will come along with China's high-quality development and high-standard opening up. The number one unanimous view was to reject decoupling and move forward with China. The modernization of China with common prosperity for all will open up a broader path to a common development of all countries. Modernization should not make the rich richer and the poor poorer, nor should it serve the interests of only a few countries or individuals. Common prosperity for the whole world requires the development of all countries. The Belt and Road Initiative, or the BRI, and the Global Development Initiative, or the GDI, are public goods that China offers to the international community. They are also open platforms for pursuing common development and prosperity. 10 years on since the start of the BRI, over 3,000 cooperation projects have been launched, involving close to $1 trillion of investment and creating 420,000 jobs for participating countries. Many nations have thus realized the dreams of railways, big bridges, and poverty alleviation. The GDI is also widely welcomed by the international community. With the support of over 100 countries and many international organizations, and with some 70 countries in the group of friends of the GDI, the initiative is giving a strong boost to the early attainment of the U.S. Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. China takes seriously the debt issue of developing countries. We are actively and fully implementing the G20's debt service suspension initiative and have contributed as much as 63% of the total debt payments suspended. It is fair to say that Chinese modernization has helped inspire confidence in many countries in their pursuit of modernization. As an African leader put it, the Chinese path inspires all developing countries to believe that every country is able to achieve development even from scratch. The modernization of China with material and cultural ethical advancement will open up bright prospects for human progress. Some countries, while highly developed in economy, science and technology, have descended into a capital-centric mode. Rampant materialism, cultural impoverishment, moral degradation, and public disorder. As President Xi Jinping underscored, the ultimate goal of modernization is the free and well-rounded development of people, which means not only material abundance, but also cultural ethical enrichment. As the Chinese saying goes, only when the granary is full will people learn etiquette. Only when people are well-fed and clothed will they know honor and shame. The Chinese nation always yearns for a world of great harmony in which people are free from want and follow a high moral standard. It is a world where people put their cultural pursuit before material needs and see it as part of their social ideal. Back in the Axial Age 2,500 years ago, philosophers of great civilizations like Confucius and Mencius in China and Plato in Greece went on their respective yet common pursuit of cultural and ethical enrichment. Modernization is not the demise of ancient civilizations, but a renewal of traditional cultures. The Global Civilization Initiative, or the GCI, put forth by President Xi Jinping, advocates the importance of inheritance and innovations of civilizations, promotes the respect for the diversity of civilizations, and advances the principles of equality, mutual learning, dialogue, and inclusiveness among civilizations. The Chinese believe that even for an established country, its future hinges on self-renewal. Chinese modernization will add new vigor and vitality to the profound Chinese civilization and contribute more Chinese wisdom
我们憧憬这样
to
一
global
幅美
peace
妙
and
的世界
prosperity
图景，
and to human progress.
各大
We
文
envision
明
a better
薪火
world
相传，
in which all
返本
civilizations
开心。
prosper from generation to
人类
generation
物质文明
through
的大厦
constant self-renewal,
遍地林立，
enjoying both
精神
material
文明的
abundance
天空
and cultural
群星闪
and
耀。
ethical advancement.
一个人与自然
The
和谐共生
modernization
的现
of
代，
China with harmony
必将
between
为世
humanity
界
and
建
nature
设清洁美丽世
will
界
provide a
提
more
供更可
viable
行方案。
path to a clean and beautiful
习
world.
近平主席指出，绿水青山
As President Xi
就是金山
Jinping
银
noted,
山。
lucid waters
中
and
国
large
自觉
mountains
把
are
保护生态
invaluable
环境、
assets.
应对气候变化的责
China
任
readily
常在
takes
肩
on
上。
its responsibility of
创造
protecting
了多个
the
全球第
environment
一，
and tackling climate change,
人工
and
造林
leads the
规
world
模
on many
全球第
counts
一，
in terms of the
占全球
forested
的
area,
1/4，
which accounts for a quarter of the
可再
world's
生能
total.
源开发利用规模全
In
球
the
第一，
development and utilization of
风电、
renewable energy,
太阳能装
with
机容量
1/3 of the
占
world's
全球
installed
1/3以
capacity
上，
of wind and solar power.
新能源汽车产销量，
And in the output
全球
and
第一。
sales of new energy
世界一半
vehicles,
的新能源汽车
with half of the
行
world's
驶在中国。
NEVs running on Chinese roads.
中国向世界做出了
China
碳
has
达峰
made the solemn
碳
pledge
中和
of
的
achieving
郑重
carbon
承
peak
诺，
and carbon neutrality to
从
the world,
达峰到中和
and
只
committed
要
itself
30年。
to moving from carbon
将比欧
peak
美
to
少用
neutrality
10几年
in just
到40
30
多年。
years. That is at least
我们还
years
率先
less
出
than
资
the
成立
United States
昆明
and
生物
40
多样
plus
性
years
基
less
金，
than the European Union.
为达成巴黎
China
协
has
定
taken the initiative
做出贡献。
to set up and invest in the Kunming Biodiversity Fund and contributed to the
习近平主
conclusion of the
席
Paris
同
Agreement.
法国总统马克龙
Just early this
商定
month,
共建
President Xi
中法
Jinping and
碳中
President
和
Emmanuel
中心，
Macron agreed
为
on
全球
jointly
低碳
developing
转
a
型
carbon neutrality
再添
center
新动力，
in a bid to add new momentum to the global low-carbon
一个
transition.
走和平发展道路的现代化。
The modernization of China on the path of peaceful development will bring more certainty to world peace and
中国发
stability.
展的目的不是称王称霸，
Dominance and hegemony
中国
is
文化
not
的字
the
典里
aim of
没有
China's
国强
development.
必霸。
The notion
中
that
国外
strength
交的
will
风
lead
骨
to hegemony
是
is
不惧霸权。
incompatible with Chinese culture,
迄今，
and
中
defiance
国
of
是全
hegemony
球
is a
唯一
noble
将
character
坚持
of
和
Chinese
平发展道
diplomacy.
路载入宪法，
Until today, China is the only
是派
country
遣
in the
维和
world
人
that has
员
put
最
in
多
its
的安理
constitution
会
the
常任理事
commitment to a path of peaceful
是
development.
五合国中
China is
唯
the
一
top
承诺不
contributor
首
to
先使用核
peacekeeping
武器的国
personnel
家。
among the permanent members of the
我
UN
们已加
Security
入20
Council,
多项多边
and the
兵控
only
条约
country among the 5 nuclear
并推
weapon
动五
states
合国
that has made the
达成
promise
防
of
止
no
核战
first
争
use of
联合
nuclear
声明。
weapons. We have joined
对于
over
国际
20
争端，
multilateral arms
我们
control
主张
treaties
协商对话。
and pushed
和
for
平
the conclusion of a joint statement among the 5 nuclear weapon states
习近平
on
主席提出
preventing
的
nuclear war.
全球安
We
全倡议
advocate peaceful resolution of
指明了
international disputes
共同
through
安全、
consultation and
普
dialogue.
遍安全的正确方向。
The Global Security Initiative, or the
冤家
GSI,
宜解
put forward by
不宜
President
结
Xi Jinping, has
在中
pointed
国
out
推
the
动下
right direction of
沙
pursuing
特
common
和
and
伊朗
universal
实现
security.
复交。
As a Chinese
我
proverb
们欣
says,
慰地看到，
it is better
有
to
更多的
remove
国家
enmity than keep it
正在
alive.
握手言和。
We are happy to see that more
面对
countries
乌克
are
兰危机
shaking
严
hands
大，
and embracing peace,
中国
facilitated
不是
by
孤火
China,
交友，
Saudi Arabia, and Iran
参
resumed
与
diplomatic relations.
而是
In the
秉持
face
公
of the
正
protracted Ukraine
反复
crisis, China does not
给危机
inflame
减
or take
压，
advantage of the
让
situation.
局势降温。
Rather, China has taken
事实
an
证明，
impartial stance
中
and
国
pushed
迈向
for
现
peace
代化，
talks in order to reduce the
和平
pressure
力量的
and
增长，
lower the temperature around the
是
crisis.
正义力量的壮大。
Facts have proved that the China moving toward modernization is a boost to
各位
the
朋友，
force for peace and justice.
去年10月份召开的中国共产党第
Friends,
24次全国代表
The
大会，
20th CPC National
破坏了
Congress
中国
held
未来
last
发展的
October
蓝图，
drew up the
明
blueprint
确
for
提出
China's
与
future
中国式
development
现代化
and laid out the
全
task
面推
of
进
advancing
中
the
华民族的
rejuvenation of
复
the
兴。
Chinese nation on all fronts
为了
through
完
a
成这
Chinese
个中
path
心
to
任务，
modernization.
中国外交
Fulfilling this
责
central
无旁
task
贷。
is an unshakable
我们
responsibility
将始终
for
坚
Chinese
定不移地走
diplomacy.
和平发展道
We
路，
will stay committed to the
坚定
path
不
of
移地
peaceful
推
development
动构建
and to
相互尊
fostering
重、
a new type of
公平正
international
义、
relations
合作
featuring
共
mutual
赢的
respect,
新型国际关
fairness,
系，
justice, and
致力
win-win
于同各国
cooperation.
一道，
We
建
will
设
work
持
with
久
all
和平、
countries to build an open,
便安全、
inclusive, clean,
共
and
同
beautiful
繁荣、
world of lasting
开
peace,
放包容、
universal security,
清
and
洁美
common
丽的世界，
prosperity,
构建人类命
and
运的
develop
共
a
同体。
community with a shared future for mankind.
我们将更加坚 坚定地捍卫各国的发展权利。
China will defend the right to development of all countries with greater determination. Modernization is an inalienable right of every country, not a privilege reserved for a few. Those who have realized modernization should not tear down the bridge or block other countries' path to modernization. And they should not suppress, contain, or stop other countries that choose a different path to modernization. China has no intention to engage in major power competition. What we are firmly defending is our own development interests and the Chinese people's right to pursue a better life. China respects the modernization path chosen by the people of other countries and opposes attempts to create ideological confrontation and a new Cold War, interference in other internal affairs, and imposition of one's will on others. China stands committed to the right direction of globalization, opposes attempts to build walls and barriers and push for decoupling and severing supply chains, and opposes unilateral sanctions and maximum pressure. China is doing its utmost to ensure stable and smooth functioning of industrial and supply chains, so that economic globalization and the modernization of all countries could move forward in tandem and complement each other. China will advance high-standard opening up with more proactive efforts. China's modernization has made advances in the course of opening up and is bound to embrace a brighter future through opening up. In hosting the Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation and the China International Import Expo, China will deepen convergence of interests with the world. We will invest more resources in global development cooperation and do our utmost to help relieve the debt burdens of developing countries. We will endeavor to save international financial and currency circulation from the plight of speculation, manipulation, sanction, and pressuring, and help it return to its fundamental purpose of serving the real economy and promoting modernization. I'd like to take this opportunity to once again congratulate Madame Rousseff on assuming the presidency of the new development bank. I trust the bank will provide even greater support to the modernization processes of developing countries. China will promote more actively exchanges among civilizations. We call on all countries to promote peace, development, equity, justice, democracy, and freedom, the common values of humanity, and let cultural exchanges transcend estrangement, mutual learning transcend clashes, and coexistence transcend arrogance. We firmly oppose discrimination against races, countries, and civilizations in international relations. We are ready to explore, with all countries, the building of a global network for inter-civilization dialogue and cooperation, to open up new prospects of enhanced exchanges and understanding among different peoples, and better interactions and integration of diversified cultures. Together, we can make the garden of civilizations colorful and fragrant. China will work more vigorously for a community of all life on Earth. We will step up efforts to build a sound economic structure that facilitates green, low-carbon and circular development and promote a transition to green economic and social development across the board. Following the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities, we will actively participate in international cooperation in climate response, ocean governance, global biodiversity protection, and other areas, and promote a fair and equitable global environmental governance system of win-win cooperation, so as to contribute to addressing global challenges such as climate and environment and building a clean and beautiful world. China will safeguard the international order with greater resolve. Recently, there have been some absurd rhetoric accusing China of challenging the so-called rules-based international order, of unilaterally changing the status quo across the Taiwan Strait through force or coercion, and of disrupting peace and stability across the strait. Such claims go against basic common sense on international relations and historical justice. The logic is absurd and the consequences dangerous. Having suffered among the heaviest casualties in the World Anti-Fascist Alliance during World War II, and as a founding member of the UN and the first country to sign the UN Charter, China sees it as its solemn duty to defend the authority of the UN and uphold the post-war international order. We have the best record in abiding by the purposes and principles of the UN Charter, international law, and the basic norms of international relations. We need no reminder by certain countries or groups of countries. Fair-minded people can see full well who is exploiting and discarding the UN at its own will, who is disrupting the international order, and who is engaged in hegemonic, bullying, and high-handed practices. Friends, Taiwan has been an inalienable part of China's territory since ancient times. And both sides of the strait belong to one and the same China. This is Taiwan's history, and it is also the status quo of Taiwan. Taiwan's return to China is a component of the post-war international order, written in black and white in the Cairo Declaration and the Potsdam Proclamation. It is not the Chinese mainland, but the Taiwan independence separatist forces and a handful of countries attempting to take advantage of Taiwan independence that are disrupting international rules, unilaterally changing the status quo, and undermining stability across the strait. Their definition of rules, status quo, and stability is in fact aimed to hollow out the One China principle, achieve peaceful division of China, and ultimately tamper with the history of World War II, subvert the post-war order, and trample on China's sovereignty. This is unacceptable to the 1.4 billion Chinese people. China will not lose any part of its territory that has been restored, and the established post-war international order will not be upended. It is right and proper for China to uphold its sovereignty and territorial integrity. We would like to make it clear to those who seek to sabotage international justice in the name of international order, the Taiwan question is the core of the core interests of China, and there will be no vagueness at all in our response to anyone who attempts to distort the One China principle. We will never back down in face of any act that undermines China's sovereignty and security. Those who play with fire on Taiwan will eventually get themselves burned. Friends, as the Chinese saying goes, with thousands of mountains already behind, the road ahead is full of promises and budding spring. While Chinese modernization is conceived in China, the opportunities it brings belong to the world. We are ready to work together with all parties to promote diverse ways of modernization and create an even brighter future for our planet. To conclude, I wish the forum full success. Thank you.